For Elizabeth, Baba would do this, or usually this, because she was always driving Baba, places. It would be, this is a car, and this is binding, I'm not bound by anything, and this is freedom. Freedom. You're free from the binding. It's freedom. This is to break something. And don't break my word. What I say, hold it. Don't break it, he would say. Huh? And this is also, this together, this is together. This was to break it, what I said now, but this is together, to join or match. Like Baba would say about someone, about his father, for instance, and he'd say, there's no match for him anywhere. He was matchless. That would be like that. And also Baba would speak of if someone who had been brought to Baba and you were hoping that Baba would touch his heart, and you had done everything to make that possible, and Baba was not really, Baba was in fact putting that person off, as you could see obviously at the end of it. And we said, but Baba, why? That's such a nice person. And Baba said, what can I do? What can I do? I have no connection. She has no connection with me. There has to be the connection. And all who are here, whom he selects to draw to himself, it is because of your connection from long time back. This is far away in of many lives connection. That's why you are here today. Otherwise, where would you all be? That I'm just saying Baba's gestures. That's a good one. And what did you say? Oh yes. And if a gesture of a word, an Irani word, which speaks volumes, which means the world, and the literal meaning I have no knowledge of to say it in English. The nearest I can come to it is that it leaves you cold, Some performance or something which may not be by a Baba lover. And Baba would see that, and in the end Baba would smile at that person, but look at us and tell us it was Yah. This means Yah. And Yah means, and this gesture is ice. Yah in Irani literally means ice. So this is where the ice falls from, snow, ice, you see. And or to one of us sometimes, and we say something and say, you're Yah. Oh, I know you're just Yah. Stop it. Shh. Stop it, Baba, do that, Keep quiet. And sometimes Baba would say to someone whom he's really admonishing and saying, keep quiet, his eyes flashing, and Baba would say, sew up your lips. Why don't you sew up your lips? Then you really knew Baba was really serious. Or if he was, nice, sternly, he would say. But then when it was cleared up, and always Baba was doing, how many times Baba must have done that gesture? Forgive. Next time, this time, I forgive. But then it would be so flowing, like.
How would he say, I will take your hats to India? I will take your hats to India.
He said that to you all?
To the people.
Well then, this is the heart. All your hearts I will take with me to India. This was India, by the way. This was India. I will take all your hearts with me. With me, this is along, joined with me to India. If that's literally, you see, that would be.
I'm very pleased and proud of you.
I am very pleased, very proud. And usually it would end by telling that, caressing that person. Very pleased. And then the proud, he might make a gesture. But the pleased, Baba would just say, and much, this was much. This was far. This was much. This is little. Just a little. The tiniest bit. And this was a taste. Taste. Very good. Did you put too much salt in it or too much sugar? Today it's very good, very tasty.
Love.
Huh?
Love.
This was rice. This was dal. Love was this. Love. Deep from the heart. But when it was with one gesture like that, that was the forgiveness. Right?
God.
God. I am God. Remember that. Don't forget. You see the same gesture. Don't forget. Remember that. Don't forget.
Barbara said to me once, I'm God 100%.
Yes, 100, and then the percent, somebody would read it out.
It's understood.
One, you see there's one.
I thought so. I remember the gesture and I didn't. Yeah.
This is a 0. 100, that means twice. Percent. He would do that, or just before you do that, we'd say 100% happy. I'm 100% happy.
You must come to India.
You must come to India. Next year, is it? Next time? No, must wasn't like that. For light things like that, no. It was like this. This was always an emphasis. Must, shall, I want it. This is an emphasis Baba would do.
Well,
And if he wanted to...
No.
No, that is must in the sense there are something high ideals.
Yes.
You see.
Not for the
No,
conversational
for
must
you see, he
wasn't
will use
like
this, M-U, and this.
S.
Then the person interpreting would say must. It's just like Tim asked the question,
T.
happy and proud. So you just add the word P, so that the interpreter says happy and proud. You see, it's like that.
Eruch, what was Baba's sign for the new life? Did he have a particular one that he used?
But new life, that is new life is that N,
N
that way, or he would do this N in the course of conversation. But anything like this means M and N in rapid conversation. But when you were to begin a sentence, N,
Capital.
then yeah, capital N, you see. And new life, N-E-W, new, L, enough. For the interpreter it is enough. You see, there's no need for him to go in for any L-I-F-E. It will be just this. He would begin like this, N-E, new life it would be.
But supposing he were to continue, L-I, the I would be, because I, E-Y is an I. So for the letter alphabet I, Baba would do this.
And for E would be this.
And for E,
Is the
for
year.
year, this was E. E, I and E.
Can you do the whole alphabet?
Yeah,
Can you do it so we can record it,
yes.
please?
So this is A, this is B,
This is like this. B.
yeah, B, and C, and D, E, there is no sign for F.
He would
You
do this.
just do this.
So we would say F or G, both those.
J.
F and J, both had no. So we do this F, J, like this. So anyway, this was F.
So
F.
F, there's no sign. You see here, G, and then H, I, J.
Like this.
No,
like
there's no sign for J.
No.
K.
No,
F,
no sign for J.
J and K, F, there's no sign.
I,
K,
no, J, no sign. Then
yeah, K,
K.
L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
K,
S
no,
and T, R, S.
no, L, M, Baba would emphatically do M like this, and this was N. O, P, Q, and R. R was for Rustam, Ali's brother, who was a cricketer. So this is a cricket. R for the cricketer, Rustam, R. So S is usually opposite of R, isn't it, in writing? So if this is R, then that is S.
Follows that.
Follows. R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and
Z.
Z, or he
Z,
did
yeah.
something like that. I don't
Z
remember.
would be
There's
it.
not much chance unless there was a zoo and.
So again, A, B,
B was like this.
C, D, E, no sign for F,
F.
G, H, I, no sign for J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S,
Rhoda.
T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
It's so obvious. But that figures here.
1, 2, 3. And usually Baba wouldn't count figures as we count as 1, 2, 3. You just say that 1, 2,
Or he would just do without.
3, or without that. But if he wants to have any emphasis, then he would say 1 year, 2 years, 3. Otherwise,
Four.
1, 2,
And then
3.
he'd
Like
make
that.
this
He would
such a
himself say
beautiful
that.
fist when that 5
Yeah.
went over, you see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the usual system of counting in just these lines, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 on a hand. It's very easy and all the time.
But he would never use
Baba
that.
would do this.
He never counted like this.
And
He always counted like this.
or he'd make you count, say.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, 5.
Well, then, of course, there was
10,
5, 7.
6, like that. 7, 8, it's like that.
What did he do for larger numbers? Did he spell them out then? Say
No,
When he says millions,
550,000.
millions. Millions.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
I see, yes.
Because most important in Baba's language, whether he used the board or gestures, was reference to context.
Yes.
Very important for the rapid flow of
Not this
conversation. Once the conversation flows,
You can
it
take
just
it.
goes on, the interpreter goes on and on with what he wants, you see. Just first 1 or 2 letters and the whole word is formed. Otherwise, he might use the word to begin with. There are millions and millions. So sometimes when we say millions, and if you were to say, no, not millions, billions, you would say. You see that just B, you would stop us. We would say millions of years. B, you would say. It means billions of years.
One gesture Baba often did was when we were asking him to pose for some films and making him sit under this flower archway because or that one, or this is orange flowers, and this poor Baba would pose there. And then Mehera would, while I was, Goer was taking the film, say, Baba, action, action, Baba, this is a movie. And Baba would suddenly say, it's very hot, the sun is very hot, and it's very windy. This was windy, this was very hot. Enough, let's go inside. Quite enough.
Wasn't the action that you wanted, but that's what you got.
Just something. So Baba said, well, it was. He was trying to get home to us so that the sun was very hot and it was very windy and he didn't like either. So let's get it inside and finish it and be done with it.
Hold an umbrella over me, he would say. That would be sign for umbrella.
This is sit.
Sorry, just while I think of it, what did you say that you would say when you were begging? What were the actual words that you used?
Prem se bhiksha dijiye.
Ma, first of all, Ma.
This was sitting, and this
Ma means
also was
mother.
standing. Don't.
Prem se bhiksha
Not in
dijiye.
Indian, but how would you interpret it? So if we were to put it in the play.
Mother, give some food with love.
With love. Right.
It's not food and it's not
Bhiksha
alms.
is
What
not
do you
alms
say?
also, yeah.
Because we learnt recently that alms means also giving money.
Yes.
But this is alms only in food.
So
So
we
you
say
have no
food.
word. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Achara, you take over now, huh?
Where? You're going on. What about the horses now? Yeah,
Horses.
This
This
is the
a horse
horse
race or a
Yeah.
horse.
And the car?
A car I've already said.
Aeroplane.
This is cattle.
Yeah.
Aeroplane is this.
Yeah, that's it.
Cattle at the back, the tail.
Tail wagging.
And going little at the back.
bullock cart would be this.
This is bullock cart or tonga.
With that, there would be the rhythm of his shoulder. Slow movement.
And
bullock
when
cart.
Baba would imitate someone, you know, say, what are you doing that for? You say, when you talk like a camel. It would be so perfect. Or Baba says someone was walking like this, you know. Suddenly we'd realize that person really was doing that.
And you will have marked Aloba. Baba would often imitate Aloba.
Yeah, yeah.
Why being like
Say,
that?
call him. Call him. But everybody loved being teased by Baba.
Naju Kotwal's father, he had the habit of this, you know.
So Baba said, call that one.
So it became his sign, you see. Means Naju's father is to be called, you know. So just call him.
Yes, Baba would give sign like apna Kerawala?
Jal
Jal Kerawala. Was it like this, Kerawala? No. You see, the original sign for Jal was his brother Jal when Baba was grinding the corn in Meherabad. And it needs another person always to do with that stone grinder, native village stone grind. Baba used to grind grain on that. So Jal used to help him do that. So Baba's sign for Jal always has been like this. So anybody by the name of Jal then was like this. Every other Jal was like this. And now there was one Baba,
So what would you do with that Jal?
Kerawala now.
So same.
No, with that, Kera.
Then this was Jal, Kerawala.
Means
Kera,
big
you
banana.
peel a banana. Kera means, Kerawala means banana wala. So that you see, you would do that. One Christian woman, her name was, Goanese Christian, her name was Sobin. Now, Sobin, in Irani, the word Sobin means soap. So that woman, that lady was called by Baba. Baba's gesture for her was, you know, you soap yourself, isn't it? Where's that Sobin? She doesn't come anymore. She has forgotten to come. Some things like that.
How about, what are you thinking?
But like that, when it was this could be good, it could be nice, it could be wonderful, you know. According to the subject, the context. Yes?
What are you thinking?
Baba would look, suddenly.
It's quite obvious.
Yes, you see, his gesture. And usually it was at a time when you didn't want to say what you were thinking about. It was something either so trivial or something that might put the back up of the others if you said it. And you ended up usually by saying, oh, nothing important, Baba, you know. Knowing that Baba knew what you were thinking about, but he was trying to tell you that you were right before him, but that your thoughts were not with him. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Think of me. Keep looking at me. All this is nothing.
What about surrender?
Surrender. This was like this.
I see
Yes.
everything.
Yes, surrender your all here. Or Baba would say, burden was this. Burden.
Just throw the burden.
Baba would say sometimes, my work, you see, I'm carrying the burden of the whole universe. Or if you, Baba would say, what are you so glum about? You're carrying the whole world on your head? Throw it all at my feet. I'm ocean, vast. This was, you know, ocean.
Obedience.
Or this was also patience. I have to have, with all of you, I have to have so much patience. This was, let me think of it. How would you say,
Bear with
suffer,
you.
bear.
Bear with you.
Suffer, a lot of beautiful gestures here. Huh?
I
Yes.
am Garuj.
Like this. This means swallow. Suffering is what you take in, is swallow. And
A bitter
I-
pill. A bitter pill.
Yes.
I had to bear,
suffer.
to swallow so much. And this was difficult. You see, it's an Indian gesture. Bomlacha means, supposing a scorpion bites you, something, go, boo, 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 boo. You can't bear it, you know. So this was difficult or suffering. And easiness also. But this was difficult. This was pain. Is your arm paining you? Such and such a pill. Go call Gohar, such and such a pill, 3 times. Remember to take it 3 times. And repeat what I've said. Yes, 3 times. Remember. Things like that. This was a pill. This was to drink, like not only tea, but this was to be strong. You know? So drinking, this is tonic, to be strong. Drinking to be strong means tonic. This was weak. I feel so limp and weak, you know. And Baba would look at you and say, what's the matter? How are you? You look so limp. Are you feeling limp? This is to be strong, you know, strong. Or even for weak tea. Baba said, this tea is very weak. Too much milk in it. Much milk, tea, weak, strong. Just casually, you know. We are making it very much
Slow moving.
patterned and specific.
Yeah.
But his would merge. Ours is like stills. His was a film. All the stills merged into each other to make a movement, which was always flowing, always graceful, as well as dynamic. Baba would convey his pleasure or anger or displeasure. Within a few gestures, it would be a force, both of joy and when you've done something to please him, or when you've neglected something, or you have been careless with.
What was obedience? Will you obey me?
Huh?
Obedience? Will you obey me?
Obey. What I say, will you obey? Will you do?
And easy also is this.
No, easy.
Easy is this, quick. Easy means quick. It's easy.
But sometimes.
You'd say it's easy. You'd say it's easy to do it.
Yes,
It's
it's
like
easy.
that.
But
Facial
both,
expression counts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so simple, so easy. Just the work of a.
Eruch, what did you say that Tony should have gestured for promise? What was the gesture you gave us?
Yeah.
He himself would do this.
Promise.
Keep my promise.
Yeah. Promise.
Or you say, do you promise me that you won't ever do it again? Promise? Then he would put out his hand. And we would at last say, all right, Baba, we promise.
Hold on, Dam.
Yeah. And say, whatever happens, how many difficulties, do one thing. Never let go my Daman. Hold on to my Daman. Never.
I've also seen that mean too, that you hold on to the very end.
Yes, hold on to my Daman. Hold on.
And to the very end seem to be the same.
This would be, he would say that.
Yeah, then he would say it to the very end. This is hold on to my Daman. Then everything is so, as he says, simple. That's all you have to do. Hold on to me.
Mani?
This was a train. So like when he gave the simile that I am the engine. So you have to just, link. This is link. You have to be linked to me, your connection. So all the wagons that are linked to the engine will get there. Whatever there is in it, there is maybe gold in your wagon, or coal, or both, or anything. But what matters is that you're linked to the engine, to me, so you will get there.
Whether hopeless things,
is bad.
bad things
Oh,
are
yes,
there,
that's
or
right.
good things are there. Means inside the wagon, whether there are
Yeah, this was bad.
or gold, G-O-L-D, gold, or rocks, you see, anything. keep connection and you'll go to the destination.
Yes, this is bad, bad, because that's supposed to do with the smell. But this was good, and this was snoring, or deep breathing, The breath, just like this was yawning, sort of, what are you doing? Yawning in front of me? So this was like, mouth is closed and it opens. So this was snoring, but he wouldn't deep breathe, he would just say, were you snoring? Was I snoring? Did you hear?
About his hair and curls,
John
half
Peters.
his
The letters are like beautiful birds in ugly cages.
The birds would be like this, cage
Cage
would
is
be
like
like
that.
this, or like this, because cages hang,
and
Beautiful.
this means each one, you see, each one.
Each one.
and beautiful birds in cages that were ugly. But the birds were beautiful, the souls, and our cages would be like this. Once Baba said, Kaka and Baidul.
Gustaji, Kaka and Gustaji. Kaka and Gustaji Devanam Kwan. Bashi Baidul Patron.
Then it came to Baidul, Kaka and Baidul. Baba said, I should put them both in cages, like parrots, and hang them both here. But the way Baba would say, the moment it would be, the love with which it would be said, and they'd feel so happy to be the center of it.
Eruch, if Baba was giving a message, say a birthday message or something, which he wanted cabled all over the world, he
would gesture the whole message.
He would gesture.
Yes, yes.
Well, then
Word for word.
You would repeat it, and if it wasn't phrased quite the way he
He will
wanted, you'd have to keep repeating it.
Yeah,
would you?
he will give word for word. He will give the message, and each word I would jot down. You see, and then again I'll read it. Then he might even add some word in it, or he might delete some word in it, and then again he will himself edit it and then give it out.
I see.
Word for word.
Things that were less important. Say someone was here,
Yeah.
but for instance, lepers are beautiful souls in ugly cages.
Yeah.
It had to be right, but
Yeah.
you perhaps wouldn't.
If he was not satisfied with the interpretation of his gestures, then he would repeat it through the words, using the letters.
I see. Give you more to go.
Give
on.
more, yeah.
What language was mostly spoken?
He spoke in English, but then, of course, there was an admixture of Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, and all that. But whenever the interpreter, depending upon the crowd, would always spontaneously translate those Marathi or Gujarati, Hindi words into English, spontaneously in the course of conversation. He would understand it in Hindi, but speak out in English.
While we can record it, Eruch, can you tell us something about our obedience?
He has asked us never to use drugs, to get addicted to them.
Which includes what?
Which includes all drugs that give you addiction. And you don't use it for the sake of your health, but you use it to get kick out of it, or to feel high, you see. Never use that. He has asked us not to use that.
It includes marijuana?
It includes everything.
Okay.
Even that which is not yet being used in the world, it might be used later on.
Wouldn't that include alcohol and tea and coffee?
Yes, everything. Alcohol, tea, coffee, cigarettes, everything. To the detrimental of your health, that you are addicted to it. You can't do without it, you see. You need all the time, you see, cup after cup or peg after peg. Avoid that. Don't use it. But if a doctor advises you to have a peg of whiskey or brandy or whatever it is for your health, use that much. If he advises you to use aspirin or codeine for your health for a certain number of days, don't shirk. Do according to what the doctor tells you for your health, because your body is very important. Because through your body only you will realize me, he said. And what the doctor says, do it. Do that. Yeah.
Just a few gestures left, like Eruch was reminding me now, to sit in seclusion. To sit in seclusion. This is a gesture for sit, and this is with doors closed. So sit in seclusion is that gesture. And incidentally, when he wanted a door shut, Baba would say, shut the door. Or open. Open was like that, open the door. And there were often times when Baba would gesture about the war, or somebody fighting, or just a silly quarrel. It was the same. This was it. You know, this war, that was war. When it's a world war, or these two people were just fighting all the time, fighting, you know, that could be for that. And when during the fighting, when Baba would refer to the Japanese, they were involved, Japanese or Chinese, their gestures this, because their noses are of a distinct shape, or not shape, whichever it is, you see, like that. That would be Japanese, Chinese. Then when Baba would talk of somebody being on the path, or the gesture for spiritual was equal to being on the path. So this was spiritual, in the spiritual. And he's very top, spiritually a saint, or on the path, the masts. This just means traveling a journey path. This meant spiritual. Then voice. Baba was very appreciative of a good voice. Didn't matter what the song was sometimes, or what they said, but a voice. And this was very good voice here. And but sometimes if a singer was singing a very good ghazal, but his voice was, as Baba would say, as if he'd had castor oil, or he was singing through his nose, you know. Or when Baba would tease Rano, so why do you talk through your nose? And that was a signal for a good, you know, tease, rise out of Rano. And she would say, oh, well, Baba, you should hear the real Americans and how they talk through the nose. I don't talk through the nose. Anyway, this was either talking through the nose, singing through the nose, or Japanese and Chinese. And as I said, this was read. And Baba would ask me, well, today, what are you going to read? This was write. He would say to Eruch, write a letter to so-and-so. And when we were sitting at breakfast or before darshan, he would say, how do I look? He even did that in the film the other day. He'd say, how do I look? And we'd say, oh, Baba, radiant. Or we say, Baba, well, not now, but once you are giving the darshan, then you, as Rana would say, you turn on the tap and you'll really look. And just shortly before Baba dropped his form, it was in the month of January, and one day we were at breakfast table, and as usual he turned to me and said, how do I look? But he was not looking happy. The way he made a face that was either frowning or in suffering. He said, how do I look? And I didn't know what to say. So I said, oh, well, Baba, if you were smiling or looking relaxed or happy, then of course you look radiant, beautiful. And Baba said, how can I smile? How can I smile? You all can't see, but I can see what's coming. So, and that is one of the hints Baba gave. Oh yes, this is tomorrow, but when the two fingers are used to follow one another, that's day after tomorrow. This is tomorrow, but day after tomorrow, you see. And what else they said today about? Of course, this is always, when you refer to the heart, with the middle finger, and this was the mind. And when we were in Guru Prasad, that last time in 1968, and Baba was listening to the records of Jim Reeves. Baba liked his voice very much, and he said, Jim Reeves' voice touches my heart, just as Begum Akhtar's in Indian singing touches my heart. So Jim Reeves in English singing touches my heart. And one day, and he said, it really was a real relaxation for him after the strain and the stress of the tremendous work he was doing in seclusion at that time. And so he wanted whatever records we could get of Jim Reeves, just play them all. We got stacks by then, not all of them yet we were able to get. But one day one was played, which was Welcome to My World. And Baba said, very good, play it again. And after it was played again, Baba went over to the men's side, the Mandali's hall. And he told me to bring it along because he wanted the men to hear it. And at that, it was that very, very secluded time in Guru Prasad. None of the Mandali could go out, or none of the others could come in. So there were just a few of the men, Eruch, Francis, Pendu, Bhau, Alaba, Baidur, and either Balnatu or Nanakhe. I think it was Balnatu. Both were there. They were keeping watch mostly to see no one came into Guru Prasad and things. So Baba said, bring it along. So there was Baba walking with Mehera towards the door which divided the men's from the women's, and he would go through it. And here was I following Baba with the gramophone and that record on it. And then we passed through. There Baba was now in the men's side, on the men's side of Guru Prasad wing. And he sat in his usual chair, Sadra Han, and I sat on the floor playing that record, and the other Mandali the men were sitting around before Baba. And Baba said, listen, carefully. This is a very good, and Jim Reeves' voice. But you'll listen properly and try and catch the words. The words are very good too. And so as I started playing it, as if to help them understand and catch the words properly, particularly pointed to Francis too, and so as if to emphasize the words, he gestured the whole song in pantomime, and it was just silence there, just that song being played, and Baba gesturing. It was so beautiful. The impact of it was felt even then, even without knowing that this song had a special message from Baba for us, and that it would mean so much later. Now,
Welcome to my world.
Yes, welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world. Won't you please come in?
And then knock.
Leave your cares behind.
Welcome to my world. Knock, and the door will open. Seek, and you will find. Ask, and you'll be given the key to this world of mine.
I'll be waiting there.
I'll be waiting there with my arms unfurled, waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. And then the second time he says, I'll be waiting here with my arms unfurled, waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. And Baba kept his arms open right through that last line twice. He just sat like that. So there you have it. That's knock, that's open, that's seek, that's get, to gain, to find.
Miracles, I'm told.
Baba just did that. The key. Oh, the key. It was a very important thing in my life as a child, because I was always asking Baba to turn the key. I would say, oh Baba, my holidays, if they start earlier this year, then I can be with you at such and such a time. And Baba said, don't worry, I'll turn the key, giving me a very, a look that was just between Baba and me, sort of a secret. Don't worry, turn the key, you know. And so after that, when nothing was happening or I was impatient, I'd write to him, please turn the key, please turn the key. Get me there soon, turn the key. Okay.
It's very handy having a brother like that.
Yes,
if
there
you
you are.
always
A
did.
brother who could turn the key and but fortunately I only asked him to turn the key for just coming to him.
Wanted to give a discourse and was using an alphabet board, he would use the alphabet board. That would be easy for him. He would go with his fingers all over the letters there, and the interpreter would read out the whole discourse. Same thing with the message. When he was using the board, anything new has to be given out, he used the board. There's no doubt about it. But there were stock phrases, as Mani just now pointed out to you all, where there was no need to use the board at all. But when he dropped the use of the board, then of course when he had to give his message or any discourse, he had to use his fingers and form the words and sentences through different signs, you see. But when he used the board, he used it to give discourses, dissertations, messages, or to dictate a cable message, or the points for the letters. He used the board. Say, when he dropped the use of the board, he gave it out through his hand gestures, all the sentences, all the words. It was a very laborious process. With great patience he did it.
Could you show us the pace that he would do it at?
For example,
Impossible to imitate. Impossible, I tell you. Impossible to imitate.
for example, when he was giving the discourse on obedience,
Yes.
different types of obedience, the obedience of the slave,
Yeah.
and the obedience of the
Yes,
soul.
he would go with.
No, but after when we saw him, he wasn't using the board.
Yeah.
He was
Using his gestures, yes, that he would go through the word, go through all these things, you see. All the letters he would have to go through. But then once obedience would be there, you see, the reference to context would help the interpreter. And naturally, he wouldn't have to spell out the word obedience all the time. Now we knew that he is going to give the discourse on obedience, you see. So the obedience would be just this much, O. Or if there are two O's, you see, or the object in obeying, you see, so he would spell out the word object. If we were to mix up the words object and obedience, then he would again correct us. That's how it would be. But usually he would just say obedience, you see, or this he would say. Just signs he would use. Devotion, D-E-V, he would use like that for devotion. Love, he would use L-O-V, or just use the word L, and that's all. Or he would do like this for love. It all depended. Impossible to imitate. Impossible. And to imitate would be, I think, even if we were to follow him through while he is gesturing, and we would want to imitate on the spur of the moment while he is gesturing, even that would be impossible, because his flow, his elegance was such great. It was incomparable, I should say. Impossible to imitate. So beautiful. Yeah. The flow was so beautiful, incomparable. It's impossible. Our hands are too short for it. The fingers are deformed. Our face, we are so ugly, you see, with our expressions. We find ourselves physically incapable of going through the whole process. We find ourselves as if our fingers are cut, you see, while we now even think of these things. But he would go through the whole process, letter by letter, to form the word by word, to form the sentences. But once the flow starts, then he would just use the first two alphabets of the words. And then it goes on. This much I can carry you through. I noticed that, but I completely forgot about it. I wanted to tell you, it's good that you brought the subject, you see. What Baba would do is just, suppose if Baba wanted someone to bow down to some person there whom he wanted us to do, and he sends through proxy, you see, that particular gesture. So he won't do that. All he would do is just this. two things he would do. You want to come on, I'll imitate. So first of all, the thing is that it would be done like this. So you are standing. So Baba would say that he would say this. Suppose if this gift packet is to be given, you see. So you'd say that give this. But before you give this, means it will be all there. B, U, T. But before you give this and all that, what you do is bow down to him. So he would do this, you see. Like that you do it. Or sometimes you would say, you do this.
Like
Either of them. Depending upon how you would want it. And invariably the words that we had to express it was a stock phrase. Whenever this is to be given, it says, please accept this gift of God and oblige. And then you bow down, you give it to him. Whether it be a gift of money, whether it be a gift of money or grain or cloth or anything, or sweets, it had to be given with these words. Please accept this gift of God and oblige him. And before doing that, we had to bow down. It was imperative that we had to bow down. If he is not there and we are doing it on his behalf, he would first bow down to us and send us there. Same thing with conveying a message to the saint, mind you, or the perfect master, or anywhere. He would bow down and send us there. We bow down there and convey it. This way, the way it is. I can read it now. Suppose if Baba, it's true. But now suppose if Arti is the one who is interpreting. So Arti has to read it upside down, you see. You see, then he speaks out, that is Baba. Now Baba says that I am G-O-D, God. So the way you read it is upside down. But then the interpreter is so trained with his reading that he need not be nearby. He can be at a distance to where Rich is sitting and Baba is using the board on the seat there. And he can read it out, you see, the upside down letters there. And then he wouldn't go around like that. Now suppose consciousness. So he need not go on saying that C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S. No. In the flow of conversation with reference to context, he would just simply say, means this is C-O-N, consciousness is infinite. Enough. So the interpreter says infinite. It is infinite. Consciousness is infinite.
It used to be very powerful how you would say, you'd preface it quite often with Baba says.
Yes, the interpreter has to say that. Not I, anybody would say that. Baba says. And then no sooner Baba starts giving out sentences, you see, and a paragraph says. Then again the interpreter would say, Baba says this now. And
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. And for figures, 12 years, 21 years, 12 years, 34 years. You just point out. All is a zero, let's say. It's like that.
You must have made mistakes when you were like just taking the short form, like say with
No, the thing usually there won't be many some, yes. Occasionally, rarely. Then he would correct. He would say that, you see. And says, no, read this now. Like that. He'll point out. It's not consciousness, it's confusion. You see, like that. Confusion, not consciousness. It's like that. Confusion is great. We might be thinking, you see, that consciousness is infinite. We say that. But he would say, it's not consciousness, it's confusion. Infinite confusion. It's like, so we might sometimes, very rarely. But then he would check, he would again correct it. Even though if it is being spoken out in the public, he would check. He said, no, it's not that. And even while using the board, you see, there's something like God is great, you see. So he need not say, so he would say like this. Yeah, it's like that. So if the interpreter simply says God, then he understands vast, is infinite, is great, depending upon the flow of conversation. Whether he wants to use the word infinite or great or vast, like that. So everything is mixed up in this. It's in the board. His gestures would be there, citing of sentences would be there, and so forth. He wouldn't adhere to any strict principles. And that's why I say that it's impossible to imitate him. Impossible.
But I imagine one of the things that would have happened is that you get a closer inner link with the way he thinks.
Yes.
And with practice, you know a lot of what he's going to say. Not
with practice, we know what. With practice and the initial word.
Yes.
Initial letter.
Key letters.
Yes, the
Yes.
key letters. Yes, that's true. That's a fact. But it's not that he imparts such thoughts. You see, that he says, no. It's all humbug. People think like that, you see, that we are in tune with his thoughts. Impossible to be in tune with the thought of the infinite.
No,
how is it possible?
I didn't mean that.
No,
I meant with
not
practice.
you, but there
No.
were other people who asked me these questions, and I said, to be really frank and truthful, nothing of the sort happened. Nothing. It's just through sheer one-pointed attention and his grace and his patience that it continued like that.
And the repetition.
Yes,
Of the
repetition. And the repetition of the same theme.
Yes.
And the same sentences would come out and all that. That made it easy.
Yes.
That made it easy. There's no doubt about it. That's why I say that he need not go through the whole spelling of the whole word, or he need not go and tell the whole sentence. It would be there and the sentence would be completed.
But people these days seem to, or some people seem to wonder, why was he silent? But his actual communication was greater by being silent than by speaking.
It is said by Param Roj, who was very close, the one who has typed out many of his conversations and dissertations and messages and all that. He has typed out, he was the steno over here. He says, how I wish Baba had not kept silent. Had he spoken, there would have been fewer words for me to type out. Because with his silence, he has given volume.
Baba didn't use the alphabet board all the time. He only brought it out when he had more to say, or we were too dumb to follow it, but the usual, like conversational gestures, Baba would do it in gestures, in such flowing gestures that while you were listening to his gestures, you really never felt that Baba was silent. And of course it always went with facial expressions. And just a slight look of change of expression would completely change the shape of the gestures, of the meaning of the words. Like this. This is clever. It's clever. Very clever. But if he said, haven't you got sense? You're dumb. That means you're dumb, you know. No sense. This fellow, he has no sense. He's just a barber. This is a barber, you know. And the barbers are, all they can do is barber. They can't do any other things. You see, he's not an artist, not just a barber. And as a matter of fact, Baba would call, Baba's sign for the doctors was always a barber. And Dr. Donkin was the English doctor, and Neelu was the Indian doctor. They were not doctors, they were doctors, you know. And so Baba would say, when somebody would come before Baba, and Baba would say, I'm very happy to see you. Very happy. These gestures very often used by Baba. When we were saying something, reading out something, or asking Baba something, Baba said, it would be a very casual gesture, or it could be a definite gesture. But if Baba was asking somebody else to be happy, they say, Baba said, for anything funny, Baba would say, you know, this is so funny, because a smile that spreads. And he'd say, my cheeks are aching. Today I laughed so much, you know. This was pain. This is an ache, pain. If we asked Baba questions and Baba didn't want to answer them, he'd say, tomorrow, today, got a headache. Always tomorrow. But, yes, and then he'd say, did you rest well? Eat well? Good. How's your health? This is a question. What, when, why, who, depends on the context of the thing. So, is your health good? And is your health? This was fever, but this was health. Little differences like that. This was time. What's the time? And that was a gesture often seen by us. Baba suddenly turned around and said, what's the time? But then it wouldn't be like this. It would be more flowing. It'd say, what's the time? And did all of you keep awake? This was awake. If at reading times, when I was reading, it was naturally everybody had come leaving their work or after their work was done. So they were relaxing before Baba. And then I would read on, either Nero Wolf's story or something. And so those who had come from the kitchen, those who had come from doing other work, would find the sound a bit droning, and especially Dr. Gohar's sister Katie. Baba would catch her out and say, Katie, wide up, don't nod. If you nod, immediately ticket for Bombay. And off you'll go. No, Baba, I like that. Baba didn't like someone who was among anyone seated before him to yawn. I'm so conscious of that even in private, today, I cannot yawn freely. I go and do all that. And Baba would catch someone yawning this, immediately that. This was yawn. The mouth going wide open, you see. Once more you yawn and you'll be thrown out of the room. So, depending on the gesture, what we were talking about now, as don't worry, everything will be all right. Everything is a zero, only I'm the only one. Don't worry. And but he would say, what are you thinking about? That same sign, but there's a different gesture, different approach to the thing it would be. And he would say, if somebody had done something that angered him or displeased him, he'd say, you always make me angry. Now once more you make me angry, this time I forgive you. This was Baba's gesture of forgiveness. Forgive you. Next time, don't do it again. And it would be a serious matter, and we said, no, Baba. Of course, we were so happened that it would be done again. And of course, he would forgive again, you know. But every time it would say, next time, I won't forgive. This time, I forgive. And after the forgiving would come, now forget about it. The thing was to be forgotten. This was to forget. And this was to remember. This was to forget. And then when Baba would praise someone, say, he loves me so much. This was love. And yet forgiveness, therefore forgiveness and love is so near to each other. Baba would say, he loves me. but now I forgive you. Forgiving was a giving like that from the heart. And when Baba forgave, it really was a forgiving. It covered more than the shortcoming, because his giving is so big, it always covers more than what we are or what we can hold or what we have done or what we desire. Always covers beyond it, always covers more than. Then as a gesture for children. So about you all who have not seen Baba, the young ones, meaning the ones who will not physically seen Baba, Baba said, you all will see. This was seeing. You all will see mine. And it was right from here to right to there, covering the whole world, as it were. And he would again say, so each one was like this, good. And gem. This was Baba's gesture for a gem, because it is a stone on a ring, usually a precious stone on a ring that is worn by anyone. And Baba said, they're all my gems. Then listen. Listen means obey. You have to obey all I say. Never let my word drop. That means what Baba says, you have to obey so spontaneously, so instantly, that the word, as it were, in Baba's case, unspoken word, but his wish, you should not let the word fall to the ground. Meaning, a word has no speed, or so much speed that there's no timing it. And yet, Baba asking for obedience was that kind of obedience that when the word left the lips, before it could touch, before it could fall, never let it fall, we have to catch it. Our obedience must be so instantaneous, so wholehearted, that you only have to know Baba's wish, and you have to hold the word, as Baba would say. And it's Baba said, sometime you must get Eruch to tell you the story of Ayaz, the supreme example of obedience to the Master. So Ayaz is the name of the lover. This is a story like Layla and Majnu are the names where such love is personified. In the sense, obedience is always quoted. Baba would quote Ayaz, give the example of Ayaz. Now, Ayaz is the name of the lover in obedience. Piyaz means onion. An onion, when you cut an onion, it makes you cry. Tears come out from your eyes. So Baba would say, you all should be like Ayaz and not like Piyaz. This is onion. You shouldn't be like Piyaz, you should be like Ayaz. You shouldn't make me cry, but you should obey me so well as Ayaz would do.
What was the sign for Ayaz? Was there a sign for Ayaz?
No, Ayaz then, words like that, Baba would either make in letters or use the board when he was using the board. When he was not using the board, then it would be in thing. And this was a scorpion. And talking of Layla Majnu, Baba would say that even the highest of human love, which was depicted by Layla and Majnu, the height of human love, so that it was closest to divine love, even Layla Majnu's love was like an ant. This was an ant bite, compared to divine love, which is a scorpion bite. And I, who have been bitten by both scorpion and ant, I could well appreciate that simile. So that was scorpion and ant, and this was for the West. This is a hat. So hat, anybody, the Westerners would be that. So this was old. Now this was mother, old, and a woman is who wears bangles. So this is mother. So Norina was this, a Western woman. And this was old. Baba would make a face, very old would be like that. And this was a man, because that's a mustache. This is a woman. This is a man. This is Western. This would be Hindu because of the string they wear across from shoulder to waist in the Hindu religions. This was Parsi because of the kasti worn like this. And this was anybody wearing glasses. By then we had come to know that Nariman meant glasses, Chanji meant glasses, like Merji would mean this. And of course Baba loved giving nicknames, so Baba would make the gesture accordingly. For Kaka, it was like this, means hefty, plump. This was somebody thin. For Padri, it was like this, up and down, that length, all length. She's so tall and long. Kaka was like this. Eruch was like this, but like this, means young. This means young. You know, the younger one who's hefty. Kaka was just the original hefty. Plump and fat. And Pendu, because of Meherabad, why was Pendu like that?
Because of his accident.
No. This is long ago. Because Meherabad sign Baba was like, Baba's sign for Meherabad was like this.
Because Pendu was the
Manager. But why was the Meherabad?
Pendu had involved in an accident and
at that time.
Yes, at that time.
And this was a Tonga. So, and this was milk. Such simple, such natural gestures. This was, of course, butter. This was butter, and this was telegram.
No,
I'm sorry. This was letters. You see, like you put a letter in a post box, but very naturally. Today, no letters, telegrams. Okay. Oh, there are. Okay. Let's see. Read. This was speak, utter, read. Reading because you're reading aloud. So this was like this. Ask. You have anything to ask? No? Still ask. Whatever you want, ask.
Are there any questions?
Yes. You have to ask something? You have to say something? Ask? No? I'm happy. Because there's nothing to ask. And sometimes Baba would say, it's just happened. I've just remembered a funny story. Now you all listen. I'm going to tell you. This is just happens to. I just happened to remember a funny story. Everybody listening? You don't nod. Keep your eyes open. If I see you nod, ticket that to Bombay. Things like that. Bombay, that's B for Bombay. That's Pune, P for Pune. T. And Baba said, what's the time? Tea. Everybody out. Tea. After tea, come back. But don't sit on my chest, and then, but when he,
What's the sign for money?
For me? Well, you see, this was Mehera and Mani, both young, both had the same sign. And Baba would do my sister or little one. So then it would depend. If Mehera was not there, then my one would be Mehera. It depends who's in the room. If I was absent from the room and Baba asking for me, he would make the same sign. This is young, little. My sister or my Mehera, whichever it would turn out to be. In fact, Meru tells me one day, Baba did this, and Meru said, Mehera? And Baba said, no. And then just to cut the time short and make it very clear, Baba did this. So Meru couldn't possibly imagine me being that small, so she said, no, it must be the dog. Mastan, Baba? No. So Baba came back in between.
What was his sign for bow?
Bow? No, bow was like this. Bow, as you know, especially at that time, he's the gentlest and most quiet person you can imagine. So it's Baba who pushed him, more to be outwardly expressive, because he was very talented, as Baba would tell us, but because bow is sometimes, especially some say bow, and bow is the sound of a dog barking, bow, 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 wow. So this is the dog. So where's how? Bow, wow. So the lamb was, the sign for him was like this. Alaba, of course, was like this. That's Mohammedan. That's the face cat. Like this, you see. Where's that Alaba? Today he's going to get it. How many times I've told him, but he doesn't listen. Now, what was Baidul? Yeah, Baidul, marble, because this whole story of why he was called Baidul is from, because he used to write lines, verses, and he imagined them to be so brilliant, and Baba would, encourage him and play along, so that Dr. Ghani at that time said, the name, he was just as good as Baidil, who was a great poet, whose songs and ghazals were sung before Baba. But he couldn't be, he was so original, Baidul was, that instead of being called Baidil, he was a marble, call him Baidul. And so Baba has called him Baidul. And this is how you play a marble. So Baidul was like that, you see. And that was Alaba, that was Pau, that was Eruch, Kaka, just plain like that. Pendu, Padri, Adi, Sarosh, same. But then it depended on, we knew what Baba was talking about, who he was talking about, according to the subject, the text, the context of the talk. Huh?
Francis.
Oh, Francis was like that too, when he was here. Huh? Francis. Because you see, in Mehera, among the resident Mandali, Francis was the only one to whom this sign applied. So this always meant Francis, because he was one of the resident Mandali, you see. And this was outside, like that, would be Adi, who was in Ahmednagar, or Sarosh, who was in Nagar again.
Gustavji?
No, Gustavji, just like that. Just like that, the man.
He had a big mush.
He had a big mush. Oh, so this was Gustavji, yes. You all talk so much. I've got a headache. Sometimes I would say like that.
Sidhu's sign was this.
Sidhu was like this?
Because he was milking the buffaloes.
He was milking the buffaloes. That was Sidhu. And Muhammad? Oh, that. The masks and the mag. Or anybody of us who were, you're crazy, Babas. Absolutely crazy. This is like a crack in the head. There's a crack. So crazy. Huh?
She's already done it. Go ahead.
Oh, Gohar was like this. Amazingly, although hers should have been this as a doctor, because like Dr. Donkin and Dr. Nilu, hers was like this because the first time she came to Baba, she had a very sore throat. And it was a big thing. And so at that time, when Baba wanted to call Gohar, and we hadn't gotten used to her being there, Baba said, the one with the sore throat, you see? So she was always like this. Khorshid was the one, because she has rather bigger nose, was like that. And Baba used to teasingly call Meru always like this, the crazy one. Naja was a frog, because Baba said she was always hopping along, that she didn't walk, she just hopped. And Marcy was a kangaroo, and Baba's sign for a kangaroo was, how it lopes.
And Rana?
Rana again was this. Now, especially in the latter years, when there was only Rana on this side and Francis on the other, it was simple to identify. We didn't need it because it all just naturally, in the conversation, you knew what it was. Or somebody with a beard was like this. Baba's gesture for a beard was so realistic, you didn't feel it was a sign, it just spoke. And then the expressions that went with it. And sometimes when Baba had a twinkle in his eye, and you could feel he was looking around, sort of who to tease or what to spring, and then and then this gesture of, all right, let go. But this was finished. This is put a stop to it with this. Stop it, you know. It's end, the end. But this was wiping out, finished. All right.
Elizabeth?
All right, sort of, let's end it all. I mean, this matter is over, this. But also when people would be bowing down to Baba, like you see in that film, Darshan film that day, the one Behram had taken. And as each one would bow, Baba would, you know, sometimes himself be doing this, and very often when somebody was bowing down, he was accepting it within him, like it's going into the ocean. It's a beautiful gesture. We've often watched Baba do that.
What was this one?
This was a baby, a child, a baby. The little ones were like that, but this was a baby. How many? 3, Baba. 3? Stop it. It's enough.
Anything pertaining to new life in particular?
Huh?
Any gestures of Baba's that...
Well, I don't remember the speech, but as I say, some of the things that were said, if I have the text, we could do some of the things that were said
I can
there.
ask you some, because most of the lines were mine.
Yes.
One of them that's been in my mind is, I am always everywhere, I have to be, and I saw you.
I saw you. Like my nazar is on you. This is seeing, nazar. I, but always do it with the middle finger and gracefully like that. I. This is I. Baba's hands would never be like this. It's always I see you. I saw you. My nazar is on you. That's what it really means. I see you. I'm everywhere. Everywhere.
I have to be.
I have to be. No, that would be, I have to be. I don't know. That I have not heard Baba. But Baba often says that all this thing is nothing. Just a zero. I'm the only one. Think of me. Put a match to everything else. This was a match. This is, you know, put a match.
Everything.
Huh?
Burn
Everything else. Burn everything. What's illusion? Think of me. All this is nothing.
Anything else, Steve?
Now let's have a funny story. Cards. Stop all this. I've got a headache. And he would turn, he would change in an instant, in a moment, a mood from the profound to the light, from the serious to the amusing or funny, in an instant, which only Baba could do. I mean, any attempt of that on our part would be so clumsy, but Baba's would be just. And there we would, then the whole room full, as we are now, we would all just flow along with that mood. 1 second this, and he could conduct it that gracefully and that instantaneous. And we, you see, that is because when one and all are sensitive to Baba's pleasure, what he wants, what would please him. And you have to be sensitive. As somebody asked me, Baba said, you know, be happy, don't worry. I said, but that doesn't mean keep grinning. If you realize that Baba was in a serious mood, or Baba was suffering, and if we, at the wrong moment, were just being happy, well, nothing could be worse than that. But to be sensitive to his pleasure, to his pain, to his wish, to his mood, to his moment, that... Tim, you want some more? This? No, this. I did this. Stop.
This must. It must.
Must.
do it.
Did Baba use that gesture?
Stamp
Have
of
to.
authority.
Yes.
No,
Has-
not stamp of authority.
No.
It must happen.
Must do.
Must. And must happen
The
quick.
inexorable law of the must.
This was slow.
MUST.
This was quick. And sometimes, at one time it did happen that before I knew it, Baba was having me to do the thing at the same time. Slowly, quick. He was sending a message to Eruch. He said, I was eating. This is eating. And Baba said, I looked up from my plate. He said, after you finish eating, go tell Eruch whatever the message was. I started getting up. No hurry, sit down. After eating, I said, I said after eating. Okay, Baba. So I eat fast. Baba said, well, there's lots of time. Slowly, eat. So I start eating slowly. Not a few seconds go by, and Baba says, do you think you'll take a lot of time to finish? Well, no, Baba, I can go right now. No, sit down. You eat after you finish, but, soon after you finish, but eat slowly. And before I knew it, Baba was doing slowly, fast, with this one hand at the same time. I tell you, I didn't know what I was eating that day. I don't think I remember. Every day. This is a repetition, you see. Every day, or all the time. And this was, I think tomorrow was like this, and yesterday was like this. Yes. Tomorrow, you remind me, I have to cut my nails. Tomorrow. Because whenever Mehera would suggest, Baba would say, tomorrow, cut my nails. And we knew it meant another tomorrow. But yesterday, I remember, yesterday I told you to do so and so, and what happened? Baba say, where is Nariman? Where are they? Where is Francis? This is where, what, who, when. When are you going to write that letter? This is writing. Is that too straight for you? This is writing, when you write. And this was newspaper. This is newspaper. No, that's a book. No, newspaper was like this.
Newspaper like this.
This is newspaper. But this is a book. Yeah? Right? This is a telegram. This is a letter. And cards. This
Pack of
just
cards.
like
Pack
when
of
you do
cards.
this. And
What was this one? You did something like with your arm? What was that?
this would be a telephone or a gramophone, so that it was synonymous to music, a gramophone. So for radio too, Baba would do this, or telephone, like this round. And this, of course, was sitar. Baba loved sitar. And tabla. Tabla was this, which Baba played beautifully.
Film also.
Film was like that too.
Cinema.
Yeah. Today we have to see cinema. But don't tell anyone. Remember, don't tell anyone. But
Sign for kitty.
Hmm?
Sign for kitty. Kitty.
It was the same thing. Oh yes, kitty. K. Tea for tea. Coffee was like that. Elizabeth was like that. Hefty, strong like that. Elizabeth.